We are talking with Tracy Ross. She's written a book about sexual abuse she suffered at the hands of her stepfather, Donnie Lee, and Donnie has actually agreed to be here with us. Now, I want to lay out my concerns first. Generally, let me just say, this is for my viewers, that it's not a good idea for perpetrators and victims to be together. It's just not a good idea. It ends up re-traumatizing and re-evoking stuff for the victim. Now, I am very in favor of forgiveness, which I think is what your story is about and what you want to tell. Though, for anyone contemplating this, please find forgiveness first and then have a professional guide you whether or not you should be around the person who was the perpetrator and make sure that person's been adequately treated as well. But Donnie, I want to give you a chance to tell us your side of the story. What happened? And I'm going to try to play the role here of people at home because they're going to have a hard time forgiving you or getting their head around what happened to you or what you did.
That's a good question. I've asked myself several times, why would I do such a thing to somebody that I love? And it's something that when I did this particular thing, that strange thoughts were going through my mind.
Were you drunk?
There was times that I'd been
Are you
drinking.
an alcoholic?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so drinking affected this but wasn't the cause.
Yes, correct.
What made you agree to participate in the book and come forward? Let's start with that, perhaps.
It started a couple of years ago when Tracy said that there was something that she wanted to ask me. She wanted to write a book, and there was some questions she wanted to ask me.
Did you assume it was about this issue? Were you frightened when she came to you?
I was nervous. I didn't know exactly what questions she wanted to ask me until she did. And she wanted me to go camping with her in the central part of Idaho, backpacking trip. And it was something that I agreed to. And once we got up there, she asked me the questions that she wanted to ask me. Direct questions.
And they're chronicled in your books. You actually have a transcript of what this conversation was.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so it was hard to be truthful and upfront, but I told her I'd support her in anything that she wanted to do to bring this out, to help other people, to, give person that's been abused the courage to come forth and to speak up and say something.
And you're a victim too. You were sexually abused as a child.
Yes.
And obviously, this is a crazy thing about childhood sexual abuse. The child we're crying about today is the potential perpetrator of tomorrow, and that's just the fact. You became a perpetrator.
Yes.
For my viewers, why should they believe you?
Why should they believe me? First of all, I wanted Tracy to believe me, that I was an adult in this situation.
Have you had treatment?
Yes, I have.
You had to have treatment for this?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
When Tracy left the house, I was put in group therapy. It wasn't one-on-one therapy, but it was in group therapy. And I was put into a group where there was different severities of their actions. And it was hard to go through, but
Well, tell us about that experience, because that's a really important point that I like to make to people out there is please get treatment before you harm somebody, particularly somebody you love. And you did the worst possible thing, Donnie.
Yes.
Let's get to it, man.
Right.
Your problems took you to a place that is almost, you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel your body reacting as I talk about this stuff. Almost unimaginable.
yeah.
Mano a mano here. It's not okay.
No, it isn't.
And yet you must have had to dug through all that shame and guilt in your treatment. And that's what people avoid doing.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
I didn't really, because I didn't do the one-on-one treatment. It was throughout the years I've had to go through different therapies and try to make peace with myself.
I understand.
Because it's a shameful crime. I mean, it's a shameful crime against the human soul.
Have you cleaned up your side of the street?
Yes, I have.
How?
Through therapy.
What about with this one?
I've did everything possible. I've sent her a letter of apology.
What about the half apologies you gave for years?
The half apologies kind of fell short.
Yeah.
Until 2 years ago.
Yeah. Was this a good thing that she came to you with this?
Yes.
For you, it was good. I think it re-traumatized her.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure
It was
it
a
did.
horrible idea to go to the mountains with somebody that's your perpetrator. I mean, it's turning out okay, but it was just anyone else listening out there, please don't do that.
Right.
Please.
I've never recommended it to
And
anyone.
it must have been, you must have been just overwhelmed by anxiety doing this. I mean, it's just almost, and dissociated. You must have been checked out, numbed to manage it, right?
Mm-hmm. But I felt like once it was set in motion, that's what I was going to do.
You just had to do it.
I had to do it.
Well, it seems like it turned out, but thank God he's had treatment. If he hadn't had treatment, God only knows what would have happened.
I know.
Did you know he was in treatment?
No. I mean, he wasn't at the time. I knew sort of.
The treatment has been since 2007, or was it before that?
It was before 2007.
Okay, so there's some treatment at least.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
What are you feeling as we have this conversation?
I feel a little gripped. A little bit.
Gripped, ambivalent gripped, or like numb gripped? Because go ahead, answer me.
Ambivalent is sort of the key word.
And where does that come from? Describe for people viewing what that ambivalence means, between what and what.
It's a tension between wanting to forgive and wanting it to all be okay and believe that it's moving forward into a better thing.
Yeah.
And residual, it does
What's the residual feeling?
cause me
What's the residual feeling?
anxiety,
No.
anger,
And he can take it.
and fear.
All that's on the ambivalent side. What's the really bad feeling that's under there?
I mean, I would say that those are the feelings.
Okay. I imagine hatred is underneath.
There's some hatred. Yes.
Okay. And that's the thing that's hard, that makes things feel ambivalent. Okay. It's okay for her to hate, right? I mean, you'd hate somebody. You would hate somebody that would do that to her.
Oh, yeah.
That's you.
Yeah. I've been paying for it ever since.
How? Hang on a second. I gotta keep checking in with her because she's the victim. You all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's okay to hate him. He can take it.
I know.
You're entitled to that.
Mm-hmm.
The ambivalent part is that's the same guy you fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it really crazy making.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it?
Fell in love with that's kind of loaded a little bit.
I beg your pardon. You're absolutely right. It's weird. It's strange I would choose those words.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. I remember in your book you had all kinds of peculiar feelings about all that. Was your salvation as a father figure at one time?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I understand. Very great that you know the difference. That's good on your part. I'm paying for it. How? We have 1 minute. I want to hear it because people want to know you paid.
Through mistrust.
Should you have gone to prison?
Pardon?
Should you have gone to prison?
No. It wouldn't have done me a bit of good to go to prison. It just probably made me harder. I don't consider myself a pedophile or a predator, and a lot of people do.
Okay, fair enough.
And I noticed that you called me a predator.
No, I said perpetrator.
Perpetrator.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There's a difference.
There is a difference.
Yeah.
I don't believe you're out there predating people, but you behaved like a predator in this situation.
I did. That situation, and how I've been paying for it ever since is I can see the pain in her eyes, what I've done, and I can't take it back. Once you do something like that, you can never take it back.
All right.
You're constantly trying to...
Well, that's an okay thing.
Yeah.
If it didn't stay with you, I'd be much more concerned about you. Right?